Hi, it's Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. This holiday season, make your celebrations unforgettable with ZJZ Designs. From festive Christmas prints to cheerful holiday designs, we've got everything to spread the joy. Introducing Eddie the Elf, dashing through the snow on his sled, perfect for adding that whimsical touch to your holiday wardrobe. Whether it's cozy sweatshirts or statement tees, find the perfect fit for everyone on your list. Ready to slay this season? Visit ZJZDesigns.com. ZJZ Designs, where style meets the holiday spirit. All right, welcome everyone to the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. Find me across social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of podcast Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Camille Brooks, Mr. Bill Kimler. Follow him across all social media at PoliticalBillSC. If you want to participate in the show, you can chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Good evening.
We're on Twitch?
What? We are on Twitch.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're on Twitch.
That's one platform I have never just decided to try. I have nothing to do with Twitch.
It is, it's one of the least compelling of them, but there's somebody out there that watches.
Wasn't it
at least
Twitch,
one
like,
person on Twitch? Yeah, but I see podcasters go out there and they put on shows, So I'll use it. So Thanksgiving, a couple days away, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys planning a festive get together?
No,
or is this gonna be low
we had
key?
our get together on Saturday. My wife's mom is not doing so good. She's kind of in one of those last, end stages of life. And so we held a big Thanksgiving final meal with the extended family down here. And I didn't even know if she was even aware she was there, but we all gathered together, had a nice time. But I think otherwise the regular Thanksgiving day is subdued. Normally we go up to New Jersey, spend it with my mom and family, etc. But not with the health being the way it is. We're not making the trip. We're staying nearby.
Okay. Well, that's nice, though, too, because,
Not to put a bummer on your own plans. What are you doing Thanksgiving?
My wife's family comes into town, and we usually celebrate over it.
Mentally?
Yes, for sure. It's always a good event. The food is fantastic. My wife's brother-in-law, he does a couple turkeys sometimes, at least two.
Wow!
But I mean, it's a huge spread, and everybody has a really good time. The food's fantastic. Between my sister-in-law and my wife's brother-in-law, they put on a fantastic spread.
Is it at your house, or do you go elsewhere?
No. It's over at their house.
Okay.
They live close by, so it's always very good.
So are we recording Wednesday night then? Are we doing Thanksgiving Eve?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can. That'll be our.
Do we need to dress
issue.
like pilgrims and Indians just to be in the festive mood?
If I was going to dress up as some of the village people, I think that I'd probably go with the construction worker. If I'm being honest,
I'm the
leather guy. Real quick, I do have one announcement, and this one will run.
Then while you announce,
this one will run through the first week or so of December. I want to let everybody know about a great community event coming up in Irmo, South Carolina. Neighbors Helping Neighbors, along with Mary's Mobile Market, is hosting the Joy of Giving Drive on Saturday, December the 7th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Moore Park on Eastview Drive. This event is about supporting local seniors, children, and teens with the holiday season. They'll have 2 collection tents set up to receive new gifts, comfort items, warm clothing, toys, books, hygiene products, household essentials, and gift cards, anything that can help brighten the holidays for families in need. All donations will go directly to the community. Organizations like Sharing God's Love, Gifts for Grants, Seven Oaks Senior Services, Palmetto Place, Epworth Lutheran Services, and others serving vulnerable neighbors. Julie Zimmerman and the team at Neighbors Helping Neighbors are inviting everyone, residents, businesses, churches, and community groups to come out and donate, volunteers, or just help spread the word. Again, this is the Joy of Giving Drive, Saturday, December 7th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Moore Park in Irmo, South Carolina. If you'd like more information, you can check the show notes. You can get involved. Also, you can contact Julie Zimmerman at juliezimmermansc@gmail.com. Like I said, you can find notes in our show notes.
Who's Julie Zimmerman? Why do you bring her name up?
So Julie Zimmerman is a woman that I met at the protest last week. In fact, we had connected on Facebook previous to that, but I don't think that we had a actual in-person meeting that I remember. I suck at faces and names and whatnot. But she is running for one of the only Richland County seats, House seats, that is currently held by a Republican. And it is held by a Republican because it is quite literally, he is the only person that has been on the ballot for the last 5 cycles.
Who is that? Do you know?
So he represents Amis district.
Yeah, I just want to know the name. Yeah. I don't know the districts, but I know the names. Okay.
So,
Julie Zimmerman is going to be a guest on our show shortly.
Really?
Yeah, we met her at Jermaine Johnson's gubernatorial announcement.
Oh, okay.
And she's a fan of our show, and I was a fan of her social media presence. She is a very active TikToker and Facebooker, and she's very much online. I told her I appreciated the effort she put in to getting her face known through the digital media. And so she invited herself onto our show. And we said, fine. So in the new year, she may be one of the first guests that we have. We just need to schedule some time with her.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, we're going to have, once her campaign gets up and going full speed, we're going to have her on the All About Nothing as well. But we've had discussions with her and Reed, another gentleman. He is running, I think, in District 87, which is adjacent to my district.
Reed
88.
And Julie will be on our show at the same time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I have no idea who Reed is. I made that up. I'm figuring I'm just going to scoop you on everybody.
Well, what we were going to do is we're going to do sort of like a town hall sort of, discussion. I think that would be entertaining. If we can get it in front of some of our constituents, I think that would be I
want to start doing some more live events. I got to tell you, Jamil and I did a couple, and they were always so much fun. I mean, just to have a live audience in front of you while you do it, there's a rush there. When you guys came down and recorded a show in Greenwood, that breakfast meeting, wasn't that a blast?
That was good. That was fun. That was a good time.
Especially good episode.
Yeah. It's one of the difficult things that I have is finding a place to do it.
Yeah.
Here in West Columbia, like there's a few locations that I think that would probably do well with that. But I've gotten pushback from the ownership of those locations because I guess they've watched the show.
Yeah, that's their big mistake right there. Don't have to go watch the shows that want to be in your venue.
Yeah, go watch somebody else and then come back to me and say, yes, more than happy to have you guys.
One idea that Jamil and I have kicked around was to do a show on the sidewalk in Uptown Greenwood and have an open seat for anybody who wants to hop on and just voice their opinion with us and kind of take it like that.
We've thought about doing that like at the Comic-Cons, like having, and we did that a few times a couple years ago where we had everything set up and we recorded with people that were just passing by, but we found the logistics of it were really difficult because I would be interviewing whoever it is that stopped by the table, but somebody else would be trying to talk to Zach at the same time that so like it's me talking to this person here, Zach is sitting here, and he's trying to communicate with somebody like that. He's got his hand over the microphone, he's trying to talk to him. It's like, oh, this doesn't the
logistics. Well, what a far way we have come from that first time I was a guest on your show as a first-time candidate way back in the day. Now look where we are. This is nuts.
It's and I've been doing this. I mean, I'm coming up on the 9th year of doing this podcast. And I think even in those 9 years, I think I only really took like one extended break.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't very long. And ultimately the reason I came back to it was because I missed doing it. I missed just sitting in front of a microphone and because I don't go back and listen to this crap.
Right.
I can't.
Sadly,
I can't
nobody
hear
else
myself.
missed it, but you missed it. And that's what's important. That's what's important.
Right. Speaking of things we're not going to miss, Friday night, breaking news that Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning as of January 5th from the House seat that she has won now, I guess, 3 times since 2020. And she had apparently, because she had flipped on Donald Trump, which I don't really look at it as she flipped on Donald Trump. She pretty much maintained the same, basically the entire time since Trump was elected. She has pretty much maintained the same, I guess, vigor of trying to get the Epstein files released. And
well, it wasn't just the Epstein
Trump
files. There was more.
Right.
There was more to her transformation than that. That was certainly a big part of it. But she's also been outspoken against Mike Johnson in trying to get some sort of health care plan together. And she was like, during the whole shutdown, she was needling him for not having a health care option and saying, hey, Republicans need health care too. And then she was also, I guess, being a little more introspective, decrying the rhetoric and politics and how she even admitted she was part of that. And she didn't want to be part of that anymore. So everybody's like looking at her side eye, Democrats and Republicans looking at her going, what the heck is going on with this lady? She like had a reverse brain aneurysm or something and is now seeing logical.
What if it is a legitimate, like, and trust me, I don't believe people change. And I get this argument from people all the time. I don't think people change. I think people see their behavior and they'll make adjustments to their behavior. But I don't think people fundamentally have the ability to change. They are who they are. But again, behavior can be adjusted in order to resolve issues that potentially stand out.
Well, what about somebody like John Fetterman? Don't you think he changed? Isn't he? I mean, you watched him during his campaign versus who he is today.
Yeah.
I would say he's done more than adjust. I'd say he was a very different individual.
So, and that makes me, I have to ask the question because his health has been in decline pretty substantially since he went from being the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania to now a senator from Pennsylvania. What if he literally just walking fell flat on his face and he's got stitches across his face like Frankenstein's monster. Not that he wasn't that far from that visual before.
He's a big man.
he's an oaf. He is an oaf. But yeah, I wonder if some of the things that he has gone through over the course of the last 4 years or
you think
3
his
or 4 years,
personality change has biological causes.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it's possible.
But he spends more of his time criticizing Democrats than he does anybody else, and it's like, not that you have to have a side, but dude, when you're thinking people over politics or people over party, right? As if the Democrats were just kind of not voting for this bill for no reason whatsoever other than to stick it to the Republicans and completely not even mentioning the fact that these Obamacare subsidies were not getting extended, that people's health care premiums were going through the roof. He acknowledged none of that and just said that the Democrats were playing politics and not a single word of criticism to the Republicans who were stripping away the health care for his own constituents. He is not the same guy.
And that's the part that makes me think that there might be something neurologically wrong because he did recognize that there were these fundamental things that the Democrats were going after, that the Democrats were trying to protect health care, that they were trying to increase or protect Social Security into the future, Medicare being available to everyone potentially one day. Like these were things that he, at least he campaigned and propped up. but yeah, something did change. And the speed at which it changed, again, I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any training whatsoever. But when I see those types of fundamental changes, it feels neurological.
So do you
It
think
feels like
Marjorie
something has
Taylor Greene
happened.
had something neurological happen to her for
I
such an
think that
abrupt change?
I think that she saw, I think she changed her behavior because of being on the opposite side of the Trump wagon. I think that, or being one of the people now in front of a potential, being run over. I think that the threats that were made, both voicemails and written threats that were made at her, I think ultimately that is potentially what drove her out. I will say though, the fact that she is going to be there to the day that she gets to begin, that she will have her pension,
Oh yeah.
her congressional pension in place.
You know what though? I saw those numbers, and she's already a multimillionaire several times over from her time in Congress, and the pension is like another 1/10% on top of her net worth. So I don't know if the pension is any motivating factor, but to your point, the number that she provided, she's like, well, I might as well get it if I'm going to get it, and just put that one extra day in there so she gets it.
Yeah. That's the only thing I question, but she doesn't get it till she's 62 years old.
Well, that's like next year, right? Year after?
I don't think so. She's like 47, 48, 50. I don't know. I'm terrible with age. Like, I can look at people and give you an idea of how old I think they think they are.
So what did I tell you Friday night after that news broke?
We should start doing these shows on Friday night, because that seems to be the craziest night of the week.
And not that we actually have to do a show. I think we just go live and we sit there and read a book or watch TV, do whatever we do, and then when the breaking news hits, we're like right there on top of it. Who's that guy? Yeah. Harry Neeson, or what's that news? What's that TikToker that you always go to? He's got the late breaking news.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're talking about Aaron Parnell or whatever.
I thought it was like somebody else, Harry Neeson or something like that. Maybe
I do see him. I see the two of them.
There's two of
Aaron
them. Okay, there's
and
two
Harry.
Of them. All they do is they take the news from somebody else and then get on the air and go, late breaking news. Let me read to you what some other reporter wrote. But he gets the scoop because he's continuously plugged in 24/7. That's what you and I need to do. We just need to be there, have CNN on, and then when something happens, you and I jump in with our own late breaking news, and we become famous.
Yeah. That'll work. We have to create. Yeah, but I will say, to their credit, both of them, they are so quick with getting their content up that it's almost. I hear about it from them before I see it. Like,
do you think
they're
actually pushing it out there before it actually happens? You think they can see 10 minutes into the future, and then they're cutting their video, and then boom, it's happening as they're saying it?
I think it's more likely that I just happen to be sitting here waiting for a job to finish, and I'll pull up Instagram and I go, oh, Aaron's got something important to say. Let's watch what that is.
What kind of superpower would that be? If you had the ability to see just 10 minutes into the future, what could you do
Foresight?
with that?
Yeah, I mean,
couldn't see beyond
what was it?
You can only see 10 minutes into the future.
Oh, just only 10 minutes into the future.
As far as you can see at any given point. You can see 10 minutes into the future. What would you do? Like, you couldn't buy a lottery ticket, right?
You could.
Could you buy a lottery ticket up until the minute it's drawn and pick your numbers?
To check on that.
Or does it close off like an hour or so?
I don't think it's an hour. I think it's pretty close up until the time, but that may not be correct. 10 minutes into the future. Yeah, that's a tough. Horse races, dog races. I think that would cover you for those.
They don't take 10 minutes to run, do they? But then again, it's a matter of when can you place your bet. So can you get your bet in 10 minutes before the end of a race? I don't know that you can.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So 10 minutes.
Could that be useful in any scenario whatsoever? I mean, I guess if you were to be murdered, right, you could probably dodge the murderer. Because, you can see 10 minutes like, oh shit, there's a guy coming at me in 10 minutes with a knife. Like, you can avoid that.
Yeah. But how disappointing would that be that, every time you see 10 minutes in the future, it's somebody trying to kill you? I'd really have to question what is it that I'm doing wrong to constantly be the target of some murderer?
It's pretty much maybe a one-time use of that power.
Maybe
constant.
I don't know. I feel like having a superpower would be wasted on 10 minutes. I don't know. That was one of those questions that we'd always ask guests on the show, was like, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? And the Magneto, the ability to control and manipulate the electromagnetic sphere or whatever, and control, metal and whatnot. That was one that came up more frequently. I thought a lot of people weren't really inclined to think that flying was something they'd want to do. I'm
more interested in, what are the useless superpowers that you could have?
The Iceman, whatever it was. That was a dumb power. Because to me, it just didn't make sense that he could just freeze things. Well, they thaw. Right?
I would think somebody like Aquaman was the most useless, because that's Aquaman's like the one that useless. I fear the least. He could never get to me. There's nothing he could do to me. Never, not once. I never go near the water. Nope. He's not getting me.
Is this your subtle way of telling us you don't know how to swim?
I know how to swim, but again, I don't want to swim where there's other living creatures except maybe people I know. That's it.
I concur. I am not a fan of beaches. I don't like going in the ocean. Some lakes here in South Carolina, I have friends that work for DHEC that would tell me that what the parts per million fecal matter in our local lakes, and I was like, not swimming there, because it was worse than some public pools, like the lakes. I'm not a fan. Like, it has to, like in Lake Murray, for me, I have to, if I'm swimming in Lake Murray, it has to be like anywhere from like Ballantyne or Dreer Island, west.
When I lived in Illinois,
anything close to the dam.
I lived in Illinois as a kid, and there was a lake we would go to every day during the summer as kids. And parents had like a little beach, and there was a lake, but the lake was occupied by fish creatures and other things. And what we would always see, there were always a million tadpoles in this lake. And we would swallow the tadpoles inadvertently because they were just everywhere. I actually remember as like a 7-8-year-old swallowed a tadpole, and I felt like I felt it wiggling in my stomach. I mean, I didn't really, but I imagined it because it was a live tadpole. There was millions of them.
Yeah,
that's why I don't go back.
That
is
gag worthy.
Yeah,
that is gag worthy for sure. So, another news topic. I wanted to bring up.
I lost the train of thought there.
No, that's all right. And honestly, it's better for me because then I don't dwell. The Epstein transparency law was signed into law.
Yeah. How about our predictions? I made the prediction on Wednesday that Trump would let that thing sit on his desk for weeks before signing it, not knowing he had signed it just 30 minutes prior to my prediction.
Yeah. Well, how could we? I don't know
that's
when
my superpower. I can forecast things 30 minutes into the past.
It's great. It was, it came out shortly after or shortly before the episode, and of course, before the episode goes up, or we go live or start recording. I'm usually watching Seth Meyers because he early releases a closer look, and I will watch potentially for content. But
is he any good? I've never watched his show.
I think Seth Meyers is very good. I think it's a unique way. It's a unique way that he does his show. I only really watch for the monologues. I only watch any of the late night shows for the monologues. Like if it's a really intriguing guest or somebody that I want to see, Timothy Oliphant, when he goes on any one of these shows, I usually watch him because he's a really good guest, and I keep hoping he's going to say,
I've
we're bringing Justified back.
That show of Justified. I've never seen it.
No?
No. I was a big fan of Deadwood. I love Deadwood. But I've never seen Justified.
One of the one of the behaviors that I think that I pick up on Timothy Oliphant almost all the time is the fact that he's always pointing with his right hand. Everything when he's talking to somebody, he's always pointing at them, or he's pointing at something over here. Like that his hand is constantly pointing. But yeah, Justified was such a good show. That was a show that was written. It was based on a short story called Fire in the Hole, which was the very first episode of Justified. But then they built an entire season off of it. And then it got picked up for another season. Then it got picked up for 2 more seasons. But Elmore Leonard is a crime novelist that his books in and around Raylan Givens and things like that, those were what Justified was created from. And if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest
I hear nothing
it.
but good things, so I'm gonna have to buckle down and get it at some point and watch it.
Yeah, fantastic show. And then they did do, it wasn't a reboot, it was sort of a continuation based off of one of his books, City Primeval, that wasn't actually a Raylan Givens book. It wasn't a Raylan Givens story. It was another story off of characters he had created. But for Justified, they actually worked Raylan in to replace the main character. And on FX, the show that they produced was fantastic. I thought it was great. So,
well, I don't know why you got us off track. We were talking about the Epstein files, and then here you are now talking about a show. What is up with this?
So as of today, while the release of the files, the law has been signed. As of today, the files and associated information in the possession of the Department of Justice have not yet been released.
Has a single word been released yet? Nothing?
No, nothing's been released. The only thing that I know that was mentioned today, and that is that the Department of Justice has asked, I guess, whoever it was that was over the grand jury, they've asked them to release the grand jury testimony, which I would have thought would have been part of the Epstein files, but they've asked to release the grand jury testimony, or the testimony that was presented to the grand jury. I have to believe that that's got some pretty damning information, because grand juries hear witness testimony and things like that. You know, the conversations that Epstein had recorded. We've seen bits and pieces of recordings from his depositions, but we haven't seen stuff from witnesses. I suspect that, and I don't understand, the Department of Justice up until recently has seemed to want to be the protectorate of this information so Donald Trump doesn't get implicated. But now,
listen, they've renamed all the departments. Like the Department of Defense is now the Department of War. We can't call the Department of Justice that anymore. Do you think there's any damn justice happening in that department?
What would you rename it to?
The Department of Trump's lapdogs. I mean, it's all it is.
It's not bad. I was going to say the Department of Injustice.
Yeah.
or
Department of Stupidity. That's the FBI.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there does seem to also be some renewed interest into the motivations that led to the death of Jeffrey Epstein, as far as whether it was a suicide or whether it was potentially an assassination. Could you imagine Kash Patel and Pam Bondi being forced to carry water for the president, having access to all of this information? I mean, could you imagine having to be those two? I don't know what Kash Patel did besides podcasting before this, but Pam Bondi was a lawyer in Florida. She wasn't a great lawyer as far as I know. But like, she was a professional as far as the Department of Education is concerned.
Well, no, she was a
lawyer. Is still
Pam Bondi was a district attorney,
right,
of Florida.
But wasn't she a lawyer before that?
Oh yeah. You were a lawyer first, and you become district attorney. But she was the one that dropped cases that were pending against Trump. I think it was like Trump University or something. And
Trump University, correct.
And then she decided to drop it, and that's how she became the United States Attorney General.
Yeah, I think the unironic connection between Trump and Pam Bondi for that Trump University situation was the fact that as soon as the case was dropped, didn't she get like a $25,000 donation to her campaign?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I place the blame on these Republican senators that went ahead and confirmed these assholes to their positions, knowing all of this. Like, here you had a lady who dropped a case against Trump, now being appointed by Trump, who received a donation from Trump. And the Republican senators went, okay, she's qualified. You've got our consent. It's the dumbest timeline. I keep saying it.
It's just a lot of carrying water for this president. Like, ultimately,
are we really carrying water, or are they just carrying his colostomy bags? I think that's what they're really carrying for this dude.
I don't know what's in the buckets. That's for sure. But somebody's emptying the colostomy
We saw him
bag
try to drink a cup of water once 5 years ago, and it didn't go well for him.
You mean one of these maneuvers?
Yeah. Like he's used to a sippy cup.
It makes me think that in his life, the number of times that he's actually held a cup to his face in order to, take down any water, I think that the likelihood is he's probably had some servants or something that have taken care of that for him. It's speaking of things being dropped, criminal cases and things like that, James Comey and Letitia James, they officially dropped their cases because the selection and installation of Lindsay Halligan as interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was invalid, deemed by a judge. The indictment has been dismissed without prejudice, which means they could potentially bring it up. But in the case of James Comey, the statute of limitations has officially run out. So there's no case against James Comey that could be brought back up based on this. I don't get it. Like, they already had to dismiss cases involving the district attorney that they picked. They tried to put in place illegally, which can't remember what that woman's name was.
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs. All I can say is that they are really bad at this. They're bad at it.
The committing crime, they do pretty well. It's when they try to uphold the law is where they keep fudging it. They keep making mistakes. I don't know. It's just if there isn't some, like, not Roger Stone, fucking A. Stone, who's the guy that did the Goodfellas and
Martin Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
There has to be a Martin Scorsese. I don't know how you got him mixed up
with Roger Stone. That baffles me.
They kind of. I mean,
Martin Short, maybe alike, you can
same
make that
height, maybe
get mistaken, or Martin Scissors, you could have said, but Roger Stone, getting him mixed up with Martin Scorsese.
In my head, I think they look a little similar. But there has to be a Martin Scorsese movie that's done in conjunction with, like, I don't know, Steve Martin, in order to write out, like, the funniest but most truthful story of this administration.
I'm watching a great movie right now. I mean, not literally this second while you and I are talking, but I'm watching this movie called Game Change, or maybe it's Game Changer. Maybe it's just Game Change. But it's a story about John McCain and Sarah Palin. And it stars Ed Harris as John McCain and Julianne Moore as Sarah Palin. And I swear to you,
one of my favorites.
I swear to you, it's not Julianne Moore. They actually had Sarah Palin in this movie acting as herself. She was so good. It actually took me, I actually look it up and go, who is playing her? And I had to realize by reading it on IMDb that it was Julianne Moore. I could not tell. She had it so perfectly down. That movie is fascinating. Talking about picking somebody, because we all know they didn't vet their vice presidential candidate all that much, right?
Correct.
Well,
correct.
Man, when you talk about her going batshit insane during the campaign, like not being what you thought you got, and just how insane she got. Sometimes she would go comatose and just not respond to anybody. She would just sit there and just stare catatonically, and just until everybody went away. I mean, nuts. I loved it. I loved watching every minute of this movie.
Did they go into it all, the scene where she almost went off on Katie Couric for the fact that Katie Couric asked her about,
she absolutely did. She went off on everybody.
What do you read?
Yeah, she went off on everybody, saying how they were all against her. Woody Harrelson is the chief of McCain's staff. He's in it. A lot of famous people.
I'm gonna have to pull that one up.
Great movie. I am loving the shit out of this film.
The last movie, because that's a theatrical movie, or at least as far as it's a single camera, multi-camera, whatever. I started watching a documentary on who it was that killed the Montreal Expos and why the Montreal Expos moved from Montreal. And talking with, people in the community and people like genuinely, I thought that the Expos got killed off because they had low attendance. They weren't doing well. That last season that they were in Montreal, they were, if it weren't for the, if it weren't for the fact that there was a strike, I think that they probably potentially would have made the playoffs in their last year in Montreal.
But even then, nobody cared. Nobody was going to their games.
Nobody seemed to care.
Yeah.
I loved Montreal Expos. Like, those were my teams. It was the Braves, it was Boston, it was the Montreal Expos, and then the Cubs. But like, those were the teams that
My favorite baseball teams?
Phillies.
No, I just rattled them off. I don't care about baseball.
Oh, that was all of them.
I don't like baseball. Maybe the Phillies, if it's Game 7 of the World Series, they'll tune in and watch.
That's fair. I get it. Baseball's not for everybody. I say the same thing every single time somebody asks me, what is it about baseball that you love? And it's, for me, it's watching how the pitchers react to every single player, the scouting report. I can usually, based on if they throw 2 fastballs, if they throw 2 fastballs up, probably a changeup down is coming.
Have you ever gotten involved in sabermetrics?
No.
Oh, you're not familiar with sabermetrics? SABRE
No.
metrics. Look that up.
I'll look it up.
You would dig it. It is a scientific approach to studying the statistics and data and analytics of baseball. And it's a whole science called sabermetrics. You can download some free tools. You can play with the modeling yourself, and it's really neat. I think you would really dig it. It kind of goes back to that. What was that story about the Oakland A's and how they hit the World Series Moneyball, right? And I think sabermetrics was the origin of the Moneyball story. And back in the day when I was pretending I was a data scientist, I did a whole research session on sabermetrics. And I actually found that part to be quite interesting because if there's one sport that's full of data, it's baseball.
Oh, tons of it.
100 different ways to Sunday that they figure out ways to measure stuff.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I'll tell you is I am sorry about your Eagles loss.
That was
Dallas
bad
yesterday.
Yeah, but
that was rough.
I wish they had just called the game at halftime and said, we're good, and game over.
Yeah, you'd been up 21-0, right?
Yeah, that was a meltdown. I know it. I felt it. I felt as soon as Dallas got their first touchdown and the Eagles just were not moving the ball anywhere, I was like, this is just a matter of time.
I was dumbfounded by some of the statistics that came out about that game. The fact that Dak Prescott has some for all of his games versus the NFC East, Dallas, that at home versus the NFC East, Dak Prescott is 22-2 against NFC East opponents at home, which is just crazy to me because I didn't think the Cowboys had won 22 games in Dak Prescott's, career. I can't think of them. And that's not to knock the Dallas Cowboys. I've got plenty of other reasons to knock the Dallas Cowboys.
Speaking of NFL, I noticed somebody's beard is remarkably not blue yet.
No. In fact, Zach and I have acknowledged, we haven't done it on an episode yet because we recorded this weekend we released the episode this week with John Sears of Hendricks and the Jake's Bar and Grill.
Great episode, by the way. Kudos to that episode. Fascinating. Tune in, everybody. That was a good one.
This weekend, we recorded with Juan Velasquez of the Travel People's podcast. He is a
don't tune into that one.
Agent.
That's a terrible episode. You can skip that one.
It was fantastic.
I haven't heard it yet.
Juan, in fact, towards the end of the episode, Juan talks about his own detainment by ICE recently. So that was shocking. He had not told me that had happened. So, but really good episode. And, but yeah, Zach and I have not discussed the wins, hows, wheres of when this beard blue thing is going to happen, but it is going to happen. I think that my beard has reached the necessary length in order for it to stick. And then
we're not going to be able to do a show when you do that because I'm just going to be giggling my ass off for 45 minutes. Yeah, good luck to you. You just have to tune me out and just do your own shows if I'm not here, because I'm just going to be peeing my pants laughing.
I don't know if you can tell, I moved the microphone from over here to under here so that...
Hi, my name is Barrett.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to do my show like this from now on.
It would be appropriate. No, like I said, I have looked at ChatGPT and asked, how long does dye like this last? And the beard apparently is one that it will wash out within a couple weeks, apparently, because I wash my beard. When I wash my hair, I wash my beard. So the likelihood is it's probably going to wash out, but it's probably going to be a good 2 strong weeks of having.
What I want you to do is to get it dyed, and then I want you to shave it all off the next day so that you just have blue skin. You have the blue outline of a beard on your face where the beard used to be.
Did I not show you what AI thinks that my face will look like?
Yeah.
I did. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to reshare that.
It looked like MS Paint did that, but
it looked like I had done something inappropriate with Smurfette, is what it looked like. Oh, Lord. All right. On that bombshell, we're going to wrap it up. Big thanks for everybody watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can follow me at Barrett Gruber and Bill at Political Bill SC. Thanks for hitting the like and hitting the liking and hitting that bell. If you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.